welcome to Crime Clueless. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
I'm Lara.
I'm Krista.
And I'm Kayla.
How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Sleepy.
Me too.
Quite a few of you are sleepy.
Yeah. And then I made you get up early. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm really glad that we're all back in our
Yes, me too. Happy to be back.
hot lab. Yes. I have
Oh, sorry.
No.
I was going to say I'm less happy to be back because I was on a fun trip. But I am happy to be home and with you guys.
That's true. When you're in paradise,
take
it's hard to
it.
come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was rough.
good trip though.
Yeah. It was fun.
Good.
It's really fun.
Good. I have a case for you today that takes place right here
Oh, no.
in Phoenix.
Laura doesn't like these ones. She likes them to be far away.
I
yeah,
do.
Yeah. But as I was researching it, I found a map that had all the locations on it. And so you could see like the exact places.
Don't show Laura.
We're going to post it. So you can look
I'll
at
be
it.
fine.
It was made by, quote, a Google user, but it was very well done. Very interesting. But I know all those places and I'm like, oh, I've been there recently. Or
Oh.
But this didn't happen
Yeah.
recently, right?
right.
Okay.
This happened
Okay.
starting in
Don't show Krista
2005.
either.
Yeah, we're all set. No, I definitely want to see. I'm just saying we're good now.
Yeah.
It happened already.
I was in an Uber the other day driving home from the airport, coming home from a work trip. And my Uber driver, he's like, oh, by the way, did you hear that someone was violently murdered here? He's like, this isn't a great area. You shouldn't live here. And I was like, thanks for that, sir. I'm like, I know how to protect my apartment, but thank you.
thanks.
And then we saw cops and they were arresting someone. And he's like, hey, maybe that's the person. Like, I'm going to choose to believe that it was. So
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I know. Every time the local ones come up, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
There was just one in Mesa.
oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
That one was horrific.
Luckily, the people were not killed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they found
fought
the
back
person.
and
Yeah.
they found the person. They fought back. They got out, called 911.
Yeah.
But
and all
that's
are
scary.
going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really scary. Well, today we're talking about Phoenix's serial shooters.
Hmm.
hmm
Not heard of them.
Yeah, I also hadn't until recently, which I can't believe
It's
after
surprising.
now
Yeah.
researching this case. I was like, how did I not know this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to give a small trigger warning. There are mentions of animal violence in this episode. I didn't want to exclude it from the story because it is a part of it, but I will be sensitive in what I share. But I just wanted listeners to know that that was part of this. All right, should we jump in?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Imagine living through not one, but two separate serial killer sprees at the same time. Sounds like the plot of a twisted crime thriller, right? Former Phoenix detective Clark Schwarzkopf later remarked, I don't think you could write a crime story where you could go, can I put two serial murders in the same location and pull it off? But the city of Phoenix was living it.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. In the summer of 2005 and 2006, Phoenix residents were living it, locking their doors, afraid to even walk outside after dark because a mysterious serial shooter was prowling the streets, in addition to what is now known as the baseline killer. Buckle up, literally, you'll see why, and let's set the stage for Phoenix's, quote, summer of fear.
I used to live on Baseline.
Yeah, we're not going to cover the
Yeah.
baseline killer for a while.
Yeah.
But we will mention a little bit about the back and forth because they really were happening in the same area at the same time.
Wild. Especially that it was two different people.
Yeah, which we'll get into that.
They were both
too.
probably hoping to pin it on the other one.
Probably.
Like, this works out really well, actually,
Yeah.
because
Maybe they'll think it's all one person.
Yeah.
yeah.
Except they ended up kind of competing with each other.
Oh,
Well,
maybe that's worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Never mind.
But you're thinking like a rational person and not
Yeah.
a psychopath. So
Well,
we'll take it.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I try. Works some days.
Our story begins quietly in May 2005. Phoenix is heating up for summer, and at first, the only unusual clues are unfortunately, animals that have been shot.
Mm.
Cats, dogs, and even horses were turning up shot to death alongside roadsides and even in people's yards.
Oh,
Terrible.
so sad.
Yeah. At the time, police didn't connect the dots. Who would imagine that someone was driving around shooting at animals? This was just the beginning. That same month, people started getting shot at random. The first known victim was 39-year-old Tony Mendez. He was fatally shot on May 17th, 2005 in West Phoenix. Tony was in his 30s. He was a construction worker. He had 4 children. Tony was riding his bike that evening. He was actually out taking candles to a family nearby that had lost power.
Oh.
He was shot from a moving vehicle with a .22 caliber rifle. Horrific. A week later, a man named Reginald, 56 years old, was gunned down on May 24th. He was a Vietnam veteran who had been struggling with schizophrenia. He was sleeping on a bus stop bench on Camelback in Phoenix when he was shot with a .22 caliber rifle from a moving vehicle.
So sad.
Mhm.
He passed away a few days after that shooting. Both were seemingly ordinary guys with no connection to anybody that would shoot them just driving past. It appeared that unlucky strangers were targeted on the street. Phoenix police realized that they might have a random shooter on their hands, but these cases had very little evidence. On June 29th, 2005, so about a month later, the shooter struck again, this time killing 20-year-old David in the suburb of Tolson, which is about 12 miles outside of Phoenix. David was a talented star athlete in high school. He was camping under an overpass that night. His body was found with gunshot wounds to his chest from a .22 rifle.
Mom.
Also, on June 29th, one of the city's horses of the city of Tolson, whose name was Sarah Moon, was found shot dead only about 2 miles from where David was killed. The cruelty was utterly senseless. Who shoots a stranger or a horse for no reason? Phoenix detectives were scratching their head, and the community was growing uneasy. 3 weeks later, on July 20th, the targeting of animals continued. In the same area that Sarah Moon was killed, a horse named Apache was killed. And that same night, about 2 miles away, a dog named Whiskey was shot and killed. And then only 5 days later, on July 25th, in close by Avondale, a horse named Little Man was killed.
I kind of thought when we started this, they would start with animals and then move to people, but it just seems like they just want to shoot
Just random.
anything. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep,
That's scary.
exactly. So scary. And it's moving. We've got different areas of Phoenix. Now we're over in Tolson.
Well, and this is before, traffic cameras were probably super prevalent. But if you're also out in areas where it's not busy, Camelback is pretty busy, but Tolson I don't think would be.
No. And I actually did look to see, because one of the victims later on survives and is able to tell police the kind of car. And in some of the reporting I read, it said that they were able to go look at traffic cams and saw the same car, but I couldn't find that in any court document or police reporting. So I'm not sure if eyewitnesses said the same thing or if they actually were able to look at that, but it's just not in court documents.
Yeah.
Because I had that same question. How are we not looking at?
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about the 80s or the 70s. We're
That's
talking
true.
about the 2000s.
Yeah.
I guess it is, though, if they're shooting horses, normally they're kind of off in farmland, kind of, or in a
Right.
field, which you may not have a camera
No,
nearby.
and ring cameras weren't
True.
prevalent.
Less of a
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Right. It is all from a moving vehicle.
Yeah.
They're not getting out and doing this. They're,
Just driving by.
yep. Now, one of the strangest parts of this whole thing is that the serial shooter just stopped for months. After July 25th, there were no attacks until November.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
A
So
long time.
people in Phoenix wondered, did he move away? Did he get arrested for something else?
Yeah.
Even the cops weren't sure. There were a few theories. Some criminologists say it might have been that classic cooling off period that we hear about. Killers sometimes go on sprees and then they back off until that compulsion builds again. Another thought is that maybe real life got in the way. The killer, and usually this is the case, they aren't full-time murderers or boogeymen or whatever. This killer actually had a job. He was a janitor at the airport. He was juggling multiple girlfriends and raising a toddler.
Yeah, so he just got busy.
Mhm.
Well, that makes it hard to go, shoot people.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes murder night gets canceled because it's your turn for daycare. And then there's the timing. Right as the serial shooter paused, the baseline killer started attacking people. The first known attack by the baseline killer was in August of 2005. So we went right from one to the next. Some detectives later wondered if this serial shooter got spooked or maybe even jealous of all the headlines. It looked like they were competing for press coverage. It is worth noting the killer's brother was also in hot water around the same period for violent incidents of his own.
Oh,
which
really?
could have made the shooter nervous with the extra police attention on his family. Bottom line, we'll never know for sure, but we do know is the pause only made things more confusing and scarier for Phoenix. One nightmare went quiet just as another one roared to life. While our serial shooter was radio silent, we had no random drive-bys, no animals were killed. Almost immediately, the baseline killer appeared. Like we said, his first attack was in August. As you can imagine, police were thinking, wait, did our guy switch hobbies? Did he get bored with shooting strangers and decided face-to-face robberies and assaults were more his thing? For a while, detectives honestly weren't sure if it was one chameleon-like monster or if they were dealing with two separate maniacs. From the public's perspective, it didn't matter. People just knew that Phoenix had a serial killer problem. It wasn't until ballistics and crime scene patterns stacked up that police started untangling these two threads. The shooter had the .22 rifle and eventually a shotgun tied to his crimes. The baseline killer left a completely different trail. Close contact assaults, robberies, no firearm evidence. By late 2005, investigators could say, yep, sorry, Phoenix, turns out you've got not one, but two serial killers operating at the same time.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably thought they were getting a break and now two to worry about.
The timing, I think they were like 10 days away from the last serial shooting to when the baseline killer targeted his first three victims.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The overlap, one spree pausing while the other kicked off, fueled months of confusion and paranoia. And to this day, it's one of the reasons that 2005 to 2006 in Phoenix is remembered as the city's summer of fear. While Phoenix was busy trying to figure out one chameleon that's got two different MOs or two psychos, the serial shooter came back with a vengeance. On November 11th, this monster attacked 44-year-old Nathaniel Schaffner. He was shot and killed in downtown Phoenix, close to the Sky Harbor Airport. Schaffner's story is especially heartbreaking. He was an unhoused man who tried to stop the shooter from harming a stray dog.
Oh,
This Good Samaritan literally stepped in to protect an innocent animal, yelling at the gunmen and even throwing a beer can at the car. The shooter responded by shooting him instead.
Oh, so sad.
Mm-hmm. Nathaniel's brave act did cost him his life. In a darkly absurd detail, Nathaniel allegedly insulted the gunman by calling him, quote, a Bill Clinton-looking mother effer. Moments before he was shot. So maybe this killer or killers weren't just cruel, but they could not handle an insult. We don't know.
How did they get that detail? Did someone see it?
Someone heard it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would that also give them a clue about what he might look like, though? Or was he just trying to insult him? Maybe.
I tried to find the comparison when I was looking at pictures of our killer. I don't see it, but it was also dark. It was at night. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It was just the meanest thing he could think of, I guess. We don't know much else about Nathaniel's background, unfortunately. Forensics determined that he was shot with a small gauge shotgun. So now we've gone from our .22 rifle to a shotgun.
Were they, just for my own sake, they're 100% sure that it was the same guy though, right? And he just switched guns?
Yeah.
There's not a chance that it's
A
someone
third.
else.
A
Yeah.
third person.
Someone else is like, all right, let me take up this mantle.
I think that's a really good point at the time. Also, because there had been that gap
Yeah.
and we had another killer operating.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't sure if his was part of that. But he's going to use a shotgun a lot more. And so that's how they know that he just went back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah. That same night, a dog named Shep was killed in Glendale, as well as a dog named Irving in the same neighborhood. I just don't understand.
So senseless.
It is.
Just evil, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you talked about the making of a serial killer. Didn't you talk about that with the pet violence and things like that?
Yeah. And actually, I read that because that is also a great point. There are the triad, right? So there's animal violence, setting things on fire, which we will also have, and bedwetting. And on the report on our killer, that one said unknown, but the other two were marked. So
Yeah.
Probably all three.
probably. We're going to say all three.
Yeah.
By the end of 2005, Phoenix had a serious problem on its hands. A string of seemingly random drive-by shootings was terrorizing the city. Authorities knew they were dealing with a serial shooter, but at the time they believed it was a lone gunman operating mostly in Phoenix's west side. The press hadn't yet given this person a catchy name, but everyone in town was on edge. And, like we discussed, if that wasn't scary enough, we also had what the press had already dubbed the baseline killer, targeting women in a close-by area. Neighborhood watch groups sprang up. Police held community meetings with hundreds of worried residents, and families were warned to stay vigilant. Just when the city thought it couldn't get any more petrified, along came one of the most chaotic nights in Phoenix history. December 29th, 2005, marked this date because the serial shooter went on what can only be described as a joyride of terror. It was a Thursday evening when gunfire started ringing out across the Phoenix metro area. Around 7:30 p.m., someone opened fire on the cars and windows of the ABC bartending school in Tempe, which is right next to Phoenix. No one was hurt in that initial incident, but it was just the warm-up. Over the next 5 hours, a light blue sedan was seen speeding around Phoenix as multiple drive-by shootings were carried out, one right after another. That night,
Driving himself?
that's a good question. Possibly. Eventually, no.
Okay.
But at this
It's like,
point,
I'm trying to think holding a shotgun and trying to drive.
You would have to drive and park, I think. Or like at least stop. And
If it's like
shoot.
a handgun, that's
Yeah.
one thing. But if like
shotgun
a shotgun
is huge. Yeah.
or a rifle, that's a two-hand.
Mhm.
Yeah. 3 people end up being charged,
Okay.
but we don't know exactly who was. We know one person was part of all of them.
Okay.
We don't know if someone was with him on this specific one. Our ones that are coming, he had a friend.
Okay.
Good thing they all have friends.
I mean, when you think about it, it always blows my mind that 2 people can come together that are both that horrifying.
You're like, yeah, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
What's the phrase? Like calls to like or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That is a crazy like calls to like.
Yeah. And unfortunate.
Or
Like,
they met
calls to
in
like.
some online chat room or something like
Mhm.
that. 'Cause
Yeah.
those exist on
Yep.
the dark web.
That has happened. That was
Yeah.
not the case here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Great. Love it.
I think also though, when you're raised in the same kind of area or the same situation, like you look for other people who,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Would share either background stories or interests or, I mean, that's how you find your friends.
Do you
You know
like
what I
shooting
mean?
animals? I
No.
do. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this together.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Well, or you bond over something first and then it develops into
You're like,
that.
by the way,
like meth.
I'm going to go do this tonight. Do you want to join me?
We could have a few beers.
Some meth and then go shoot.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Oh.
That is an accurate description.
Yeah.
With the meth. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're spot
Yes.
on, guys.
you
We got
are.
this.
You are.
Our armchair
getting good at
detective
this.
skills are getting way better.
Yeah.
They are.
For better or worse.
That's making me do more research. I'm like, okay, what are they going to ask? What are they going to think about? And then I try to go down that rabbit hole too. That same night, so we're still on December 29th, 2 men, Jose, who was 44, and Marco, who was 28, were shot and killed while simply walking outside. Both men were unhoused at the time and were killed in close-by areas, only about a third mile apart, but in quick succession, just minutes apart. This gave police more of a reason to believe that it was happening from a moving vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
We unfortunately don't know much about either of these victims aside from their names, which is heartbreaking.
That is sad.
The next incident isn't widely covered or included in all sources, but it is in some. The dog is named in the court reports, but the woman is not, and I'm not sure why.
Wow.
From what I could find, a woman was walking her dog. Her name is Barbara. She is shot. She survives. Her dog, Cherokee, was also shot at and was killed.
Oh.
This was off of Indian School Road in Phoenix next to a park. Minutes after Barbara and her dog were shot, a 26-year-old postal worker named Tim, or Timmy, had the misfortune of stepping off a bus as the serial shooters drove by.
Oh.
Timmy felt a sudden pop in his collarbone and collapsed. He later said, "I thought I was having a heart attack, but then I saw the blood." He'd been shot in the neck, but miraculously, he survived.
Oh, wow.
3 other dogs were shot on this evening. Their names were Peyton, Martin, and Peanut. 2 were killed and 1 survived, but between the reporting, I couldn't determine which was which. Some only used their names and some only used the breeds. So I'm not entirely sure.
So is that 8 shootings so far that we know of?
Let's see,
Trying
we
to count.
had
The 2, and then
The-
Barbara and her dog,
and 3 dogs
and 3 more dogs. Yeah. Oh, and then
and
Timmy.
Timmy.
So 9 so far.
This was still all one night.
Mhm.
Wow.
They also
Wow.
shot up that bartending school and all the cars that were in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not done. Shortly after midnight, so now technically December 30th, a 21-year-old woman named Clarissa encountered the shooters. She saw a light blue car pull up on Van Buren Street. It drove past her, then it did a U-turn back towards her. Clarissa was an Iraq vet, and at the time, she was a sex worker. She was expecting a potential customer, so she walked towards the car.
Oh.
Instead, as the car came towards her, she was greeted with a gun barrel flashing from the window. She threw up her hands and arms over her face and body instinctively, and she was met with the blast of a shotgun. Her hands and arms took the pellets, and the car sped away, leaving her bleeding on the pavement. Clarissa lived because a passerby saw her and rushed her to the hospital.
Wow.
3 on this 12-hour spree have survived. Timmy didn't see because he was just getting off the bus,
Mm-hmm.
walking.
Yeah.
Thank goodness Clarissa survived. As she recovered in the hospital, investigators were able to speak with her and got their first break in the case. Clarissa described the car she had seen, a light blue sedan. I've seen reporting that describes the car as silver, but it's actually light blue, just to put that out there. That's the instance I was talking about at the beginning where she had described it. I saw some reporting that said, that they had been able to then go back in surveillance and see, but I couldn't find that in any court reporting or court documents. So I'm not sure. It sounds almost like they were able to just go ask people if they saw any car, and they got some eyewitness reports, but we know those aren't very accurate usually.
Well, and if it's dark too, and you just saw it quickly, silver and
Mhm.
light blue would actually probably look similar, but
Yeah.
Because also by 7:30 in December, it is pitch black here.
Yeah.
And then the others were even later after that. When the dust settled by the early hours of December 30th, Phoenix police were reeling. In one night, the serial shooter had killed 2 people, wounded at least 3 others, and shot several dogs, all within a short time frame. The randomness and brazenness were off the charts. Finally, at this point, investigators said publicly what everyone feared. A serial predator was absolutely terrorizing the valley. The media ran with it, and Phoenix officially had a new monster to fear. Then, as if on cue, the shootings suddenly stopped. After that night of carnage, weeks and then months went by in 2006 with no further mysterious shootings.
a grand finale or something.
A grand finale for 2005,
Yeah.
I guess. Law enforcement did find this frustrating. They just identified a serial shooter problem, and then the killer goes quiet. So again, they're wondering, did he move away? Did he get spooked by the publicity from how horrifying the 29th and the 30th were? Some kind of sabbatical? No one could say. Meanwhile, the other killer, the baseline killer, was still active through early 2006, compounding everyone's anxiety. Phoenix was in this weird holding pattern of fear. In May 2006, the Phantom gunmen resurfaced, and they came back with a vengeance. This time, they changed their weapon and a little bit of their MO. The earlier shootings, except for Clarissa, had mostly been a small caliber .22 rifle, but now victims were suddenly getting blasted with .410 shotgun rounds.
So this is the third gun that they've used?
Yes, they did use 3 different guns. I think that they used the .410 when they shot Clarissa, so still the 2, but they do use 2 different types of shotguns.
Okay.
A 12 gauge or a .410.
Okay. And then the .22 rifle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Shotgun shells are much harder to trace to a specific gun, which is a fact the killers likely knew, because before they were able to trace that these were all the same type.
Mm-hmm.
All police really knew was that a light blue sedan was seen near many of the crime scenes. On May 2nd, 2006, Kabili was shot in the back by a passing car. He was only 17 years old when this happened. He had gone to the store to pick up a few groceries for his mom.
Oh, sad.
He was able to get help from a hotel he was nearby, the Radisson Phoenix Airport Hotel. Tragically, his father was shot and killed years earlier in Sierra Leone. Can you imagine the horror his mom must have felt in that moment?
No.
So sad.
Kabili survived, thankfully, and he even later showed reporters the scars from his shotgun wound. Phoenix knew that their worst nightmare had returned. That same night, only 15 minutes later, 20-year-old Claudia had just finished her shift at a restaurant in Scottsdale. She was shot with a shotgun from a moving car while she was walking home. People rushed her to aid. They got her to a hospital, but she did die a short time later. It turned out that she was killed by one of 2 shooters leaning out of a passenger side window.
So more people must have witnessed that one and the people. Okay.
It was a busier area where she was. Now, throughout May, June, and July 2006, reports of random shootings came in rapid fire. People were being wounded left and right in the Phoenix area, often with little or no description of their assailant except for a fleeing car.
That's so scary.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, it's just random.
So random.
Can't even walk anywhere. Like, all right.
And we've been in multiple cities now.
Yeah. Well, and even that guy took the bus and was walking, probably a
this
short
girl was
distance.
just walking home.
Yep.
Walking her dog. Like,
Normal things. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
These next victims were all shot with either the 12 gauge or the .410 gauge shotgun, except for this first one. And all of these next ones survived. So we're going to go through them quickly because there were a lot.
Oh, gosh.
On May 17th, a man named Timothy was stabbed. And this is the only report of a stabbing in all of their things, but it is widely attributed to our serial shooters. He did survive. So like I said, all of these next ones survived. On May 30th, a man named James, who was a Vietnam vet, was shot outside his house in Phoenix. This time, our serial shooters stuck around. They pretended to be fake witnesses and tried to mislead investigators with what they saw.
Wow.
So different race, different car, different everything. Wild.
Yes.
On May 31st, 2 friends, Miguel and Daryl, were each shot and wounded in quick succession while walking in Phoenix. And they were shot only 3 blocks away from where James had been shot the day before. On June 8th, the shooters firebombed 2 Walmart stores in Glendale, about 8 miles apart, causing an estimated $25 million in damages and losses.
Wow.
Miraculously, those arsons didn't kill anyone. Also, on June 8th, so we firebombed 2 Walmarts. We're not done. A man named Paul, who was an ex-Army medic, took a shotgun blast to his right side while out getting a late-night pack of cigarettes in Phoenix. Luckily, a neighbor heard the shot and got him help. On June 11th, Elizabeth Clark was shot in the hip while riding her bike in Phoenix. On June 20th, a man named Frederick was shot while sitting in a parking lot in Phoenix listening to music. These are all just so normal, ordinary, routine things, getting groceries for your mom real quick or getting off the bus, walking home from work, things that you can't even not do.
Yeah.
It's not like you're out provoking somebody.
Exactly.
You're just living your life.
Doing normal,
Not
ordinary, everyday things.
Yeah.
Also, on June 20th, a man named Tony was shot in the stomach while out walking in Phoenix. On July 1st, a woman named Diana or Diane, I saw both, was out walking in Phoenix and she was shot. Also, on July 1st, while standing outside a strip mall in Phoenix, a man named Jeremy was shot. 2 days later, on July 3rd, a man named Joseph was shot while he was out on his bike. On July 7th, a man named David was shot in the neck just while talking on his phone, literally outside of his home in Phoenix. On July 8th, 2 separate shootings happened. A woman named Ashley was shot in the back of her head, and she survived.
She survived. Wow.
While walking in Phoenix, and a man named Gary was also shot in Phoenix. On July 11th, a man named Michael was shot in Glendale. On July 22nd, a man named Raul was shot in Mesa. So we're covering like every single
Everywhere.
surrounding cities of Phoenix.
Like they just hopped on the 16, took off in different directions.
Moved to the 10, all over. On July 30th, 2006, the last victim of the serial shooters would be killed. On that evening, around 11:15 p.m., 22-year-old Robin, who lived in Mesa off of Gilbert Road, was going to walk to her boyfriend's house from her parents' house. It's a short walk, one she's done a million times. She's wearing pajamas. She even has on fuzzy slippers as she quickly heads over. She was on the phone with a friend while she was walking. Suddenly, a neighbor hears a gunshot and runs outside. He finds Robin laying on the side of the road with gunshot injuries. She unfortunately did not survive. And as horrifying and tragic as this death is, her parents had lost another daughter 10 years prior in a car accident.
Oh,
Can't imagine that.
Poor family.
Yeah. By now, over 13 months since the first shooting, there had been at least 29 separate shootings attributed to this killer.
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
That's insane.
In total, the Phoenix serial shooter spree would leave 8 people dead, others injured, as well as killing many animals.
So that 29 doesn't include the animals.
That was just people.
Wow.
I did see more attributed that next to them said not charged. I don't know if they didn't have enough evidence to link the serial shooter to those ones or what happened, but these are the ones that are forensically and definitely linked to the serial shooters. The sheer randomness of their killing spree meant that anyone could be next. Pedestrians, people on bikes, couples walking, people in their own yards, Phoenix and surrounding areas, all of them, residents were literally afraid to step outside at night. All right, and that is where we are going to end part 1. Phoenix, terrified, summer of fear. We will give you part 2 in your feed right now. We don't want to make you wait to find out how police were able to finally track down who the serial shooter was. Thank you so much for listening. We are grateful for you. We would really appreciate if you like listening to Crime Clueless, if you would head over and give us a rating. We love seeing those. Leave us a review if you have a minute. Just scroll down on Apple Podcasts. Under all of the episodes, you can see the stars. You can click those. And under that, you could click write a review if you felt so inclined. Also on Spotify at the top, you can click on our reviews and leave a rating there. They don't have reviews.
Yep. Just ratings.
We would love if you would head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. All of our episodes are on there, as well as shorts and soon more content.
Yay.
More fun things in the mix.
Yes.
If you want to learn more about the serial shooters or see the sources that I mentioned and that were used to create this episode, you can find them on our blog, which is linked on our website, crimeclueless.com. You can just click on blog.
Yay.
Yay. You can connect with us on social media. We're at Crime Clueless on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything. Or send us an email, crimeclueless@gmail.com. And thank you again. As always, remember, refuse to be clueless, careless, or caught off guard.
Not today, murderers.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.